أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسوله الكريم. أما بعد, brothers, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Inshallah ta'ala, we'll continue tonight with our last session about the seerah of Uthman radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. So last time we were talking about the Sahaba radwanullahi ta'ala alayhim, when they came in many times and many trials and they were trying to defend Uthman radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, but Uthman radiyallahu ta'ala anhu refused and rejected that firmly, and he was decisive to the point he told them, if you still look at me as your Amir, and if you still think that you must obey me, then I command you to put down your weapons and leave to your homes. And we also talked about the fact that the Sahaba radwanullahi alayhim, all of them, when Uthman asked them and he said, those people, they want me either to step down or they want to kill me. Then the Sahaba radwanullahi alayhim, all of them, they agreed that you should not step down. And then Abdullah ibn Umar came and he told Uthman radiyallahu anhu, and he told him, if you step down, would you live forever in this dunya? He said no. Then he said, what worse than killing you they could do to you? He said nothing. Then Abdullah ibn Umar said, would they send you to Jannah or Nar? Then Uthman said, no, they won't. Then he said, do not take off a garment that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put on you. If you do so, this will become a habit. When the people don't like their Amir, they will just ask him to step down. This is a very important message, and this is very important stand from Abdullah ibn Umar, that it is actually, it will lead to a disaster. If Uthman would listen to those people, to those mob, to those scums, those people, they are not even among the trustworthy people. As we said from the past, they are mobs. They have no knowledge. They don't have any knowledge of Islam. On the other hand, we have seen the Sahaba, Ahlul Halli wal Aqd, the people of tie and tie, the people of decision, the representatives of the Ummah. They told him, do not step down. Do not listen to them. And we also looked at the statement of Abdullah ibn Salam radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, when he told him, don't fight, don't step down. This, as a matter of fact, will be an evidence in your hand to show Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when you stand in front of them. So after all of these attempts, Uthman radiyallahu anhu, he refused. At that moment, when the siege still continued, the front courtyard or the opening area of the house of Uthman still was crowded among the Sahaba and the children of the Sahaba. All of them, they were waiting there. So they were between the house of Uthman radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, and Uthman was inside the house, and the rebels and those criminals, those evils, they were outside the wall of the courtyard, the front courtyard. So they could not, until now, they could not break through. They did not take the decision to move and attack and break through. At this moment, Uthman radiallahu anhu came and he addressed this crowd with his last speech. And he said, call for me Ali, Talha ibn Ubaidillah, and Az-Zubayr. So these three Sahaba, they came, and they came closer to Uthman radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, and he stood in front of them, and he said, oh people, sit down. As we said, it was crowded, full. So everybody sat down. The narration says, among those are the Muharib, the one who is fighting, At-Tari, the one who came to check out and to look and help out, Wal-Musalim, the peaceful people. All of them who were there, they all sat down, and he addressed them by saying, Ya Ahl al-Madina, O people of Medina, إني أستودعكم الله. I leave you as a trust, as an amana, in the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وأسأله أن يحسن عليكم الخلافة من بعدي. And I ask him subhanahu wa ta'ala to perfect and to fix the khilafah after me on you. And he said, إني والله لا أدخل علي أحد يومي هذا. Nobody shall enter or should enter to my house. They were outside. Enter inside the rooms. He said, I don't want anyone to enter the house. حتى يقضي الله في قضائه. Until Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decides on this matter. ولا أدعن هؤلاء وراء بابي غير معطيهم شيئا يتخذونه عليكم دخلا في دين الله أو دنيا. And those people who are outside, talking about those evils, he says, I will never give them anything. Means I am rejecting all of their requests. I'm not going to give them whatever, nothing. Be it for this dunya or for the akhirah. I'm not going to give them something that in the future they will take it as an excuse and then they will keep asking and asking and asking. Very firm, very decisive. Very strong, powerful. And he said, حتى يكون الله عز وجل الصانع في ذلك ما أحب. Until Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He is the one who made the final decision about this matter. And he said, and he ordered the people of Medina to go back to their houses. وأقسم عليهم. Those people, the crowd inside the courtyard, the front courtyard, the opening area. He said, أقسم عليهم means he said firmly, ordered them, command them that you must leave now. That's an order of a Khalifa. So the crowd, including Ali, Talha ibn Ubaidillah, Zubayr ibn Awam, all of them, the people of Medina, everybody left that area except few from the children of the Sahaba, including Al-Hasan ibn Ali ibn Abi Talib, Abdullah ibn Zubayr radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, wa Muhammad ibn Talha ibn Ubaidillah. Just 3, 4, maximum 5 people. That's it. Everybody followed the order and the command of their Khalifa and left, except these few children of the Sahaba. Now inside this area, those few people. Outside are the rebels. And those rebels, they are controlling the surrounding of the house of Uthman radiallahu anhu. And as we said, they are controlling the whole Medina. To the point that, as we said, that the Sahaba radwanullah alayhim could not even assemble a small army. They used to come and offer Uthman to defend him individually or in a small group. Because the weapons and those people, they came almost 2,000 people. They came, they were very well prepared. They set their plan and they were like very well prepared. They know what they were doing. So they did it in a way that the Sahaba could not really assemble themselves in a big army to go and fight back. And add to that the order of Uthman radiallahu ta'ala anhu. Now, those fitna people, they decided to increase the pressure on Uthman radiallahu ta'ala. This pressure includes that they cut, the water support. No more water, no more food should get to Uthman radiallahu ta'ala. And that took many days. So Uthman radiallahu anhu, his house was attached to a house of another Sahabi. His name was Amr ibn Hazm, or Amr ibn Hazm. So Uthman radiallahu anhu, it was easy, it was very close, so it was easy on him to go and communicate with them. And he said, support us, give us some water. They gave him some, but it was not enough. Then he said, he sent a message to Ali radiallahu anhu, and he sent a message to the Ummahatul Mu'mineen radwanullahi alayhim, saying, help us, support us. We are lacking like water. We don't have water. We don't have food. So the first to come is Ali. Ali radiallahu anhu, he came and he wanted to do something. He wanted to at least remind them with something. So he came to those people by the house and he addressed them and he said, Ya ayyuhan nas, inna alladhi tasna'una la yushbihu amra al-mu'minin wala amra al-kafirin. This thing that you are doing, it does not look like any action of the mu'mineen nor a kafirin. لا تقطعوا عن هذا الرجل المادة. Do not cut the support, water and food. And he said, even Romans and Persians, when they take people as captives, as prisoners, they would feed them and they would give them water. And this man, he did not do anything bad to you. So why? Why you want to kill him? Why you want to like put this siege around him? Then they said, they were very rude. They said, لا نتركه يأكل ولا يشرب. We will not let him eat or drink. And of course, he was not allowed to enter. So Ali radiallahu anhu, he wanted to give a message to Uthman that we tried but we could not. So he took his turban and he threw it inside the house. The children of the Sahaba, they took it, they sent it to Uthman. And Uthman realized that Ali radiallahu anhu came but he could not do anything. Now when the mother of the mu'mineen heard this, the first to respond was Habiba, the daughter of Abu Sufyan. She came and she got some water and she was riding on a mule. And of course, among the Sahaba, among the people, there is like full respect to the mother of the mu'mineen. When she was coming, they said, this is al-Mu'mineen, this is al-Mu'mineen. They will open the road for her until she reached the house. And of course, she faced those people. And I believe this was Al-Ashtar or Qutayra. He said, why you are coming here? Look, the attitude. He's talking to who? He's talking to a wife of a Prophet ﷺ. What brought you here? It looks like you have water. So he took the cover off of the mule and he found like a container. So he just broke the container, spilled the water, and he hit the mule on her face, and the mule started like jumping up and down. And then Habiba said, please help me control the mule, otherwise I will fall and I will be exposed. So the Sahaba radwanullahi alayhim, they managed to hold the mule and took her off of this mule. When this news reached Uthman radiallahu anhu, he became very angry, he became very upset, he became very nervous, and he was so scared on who? On the Ummahat al-Mu'mineen. If they did this to Habiba, that means they could do anything. If they wanted to kill the Khalifa, that means they could do anything. So he decided to send Ummahat al-Mu'mineen radwanullahi alayhim to Mecca for like a protection plan. So the first one to go was Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha. Now, among those people was her brother, Muhammad ibn Abi Bakr. He was among them. And the reason he was among them because he had some sort of grudge against Uthman, because Uthman radiallahu anhu, as a Khalifa, he punished him because he violated one of the rules of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So he moved and he came with those people. So Aisha sent him a letter with Hanzala al-Katib. Hanzala is the one who used to write letters, and she told him to go and tell Muhammad to follow me. So he came to Muhammad ibn Abi Bakr and he told him, Aisha tastatbi'uk. Aisha is telling you to follow her. Then he refused. He said, no, I'm not going to go. Then he said, woe to you, wayhak. Al-Mu'minina tastatbi'uka fatarfud. And those criminals, those evils, they ask you to follow them, and you do. Then he refused completely. Then Aisha, she continued her way to Mecca. Uthman inside the house. Inside the house, in the open area, these few Sahaba, or the children of the Sahaba. Outside, as we said, those devils and those criminals. The night before the day Uthman was killed, he had a dream, radiallahu anhu. he dreamed about Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and Abu Bakr and Umar. They came to him and they told him, "Oh Uthman, tonight you break your fast by us." Then Uthman radiallahu anhu, he realized that this could be the last day for him. So he woke up fasting. He woke up fasting, and at this time he radiallahu ta'ala anhu brought the Quran, and he sat down in his room and he opened the Quran and he started reciting Quran. The people of the rebels, they wanted to finish this as soon as possible. I was reading about this actually. There was another narration that says Uthman radiallahu anhu, when this started actually, he sent a secret letters to the governors of Bilad al-Sham, al-Kufa and al-Basra, telling them at the beginning, come and help us out. Now when you look at this one and compare it to the act of Uthman, that he prevented the Sahaba from fighting for his sake, and he's going to send, or he's going and seeking help from outside, that might look like there is some sort of contradictions. When I looked again about this, I found it was like one of the good stories or the good narrations. Now when you put it together, actually, Uthman radiallahu anhu, when he looked at the Sahaba inside Medina, it was almost impossible. So his evaluation, if he would order the Sahaba to go and fight, his evaluation is those Sahaba will for sure will be banished, will be killed, because they cannot assemble as an army. They cannot get together as an army. So that is possible. That is possible. Now those people, the rebels, when they hear about the armies that are coming from outside, and those armies, they were almost 3 days away from Medina, so they gathered and they decided to either do something to force him to step down or to break through the house and kill him. That's one of the narrations. But nevertheless, it was almost on the 18th day of Dhul Hijjah, the year 35 Hijri, when that happens. So they asked one of them, the name was not mentioned in the narrations, they said, "Why don't you try to break through and try to get to him and ask him either to step down or to kill him?" So when he tried to break through, the Sahaba, or the children of the Sahaba, they stopped in front of him and they prevented him, and there was some sort of fight. So that is the only minimum small fight that happens, and as a result, Al-Hasan ibn Ali was injured, and I think Muhammad ibn Talha ibn Ubaidillah also was injured. So Uthman, when he came to know about this, he came and he said, "Didn't I tell you, leave me?" Then Abdullah ibn Zubayr, he said, "We are so worried about you, they will reach you." He said, "So what? Let them reach me. I don't want any drop of the blood of any Muslim to be spilled down for my sake. So all of you now must leave." So they took the rest of the Sahaba, the children of the Sahaba, back to their houses, and the one who was left there is Abdullah ibn Zubayr. And Abdullah ibn Zubayr was a great fighter. He was a knight. He was amazing in fighting. Now again, Uthman goes back, reading Quran. Now those rebels, what they did actually, they burned part of the wall, of the external wall. They burned part of it. So it collapsed a little bit, and there was a room for them to break through and to reach to Uthman radiallahu ta'ala anhu. And here there is many narrations that explain how this happens, how many breakthrough, what was the response of Uthman. I'm going to mention just two of them. The first narration says that the first one, to break through, and then now we'll just talk about these attempts. Now there was like so many attempts, almost 4 attempts to reach to Uthman, and each one of them, when they reached to Uthman, Uthman was sitting on his chair, reading Quran, firm, patient. He was not even like nervous. He was not even hesitating. He was not even worried at all. Firm like a mountain. And that was actually, it did stop some of them from even proceeding. So this man, the first attempt, this man, he sneaked in and he jumped inside the house without any permission. He just jumped inside the house and he was in front of Uthman and he said, "Ikhla'ha wa nada'ak." Step down and we will leave you alone. Now look at the response of Uthman. He said, "Wayhak, woe to you. Wallahi ma kashaftum ra'atan fi jahiliyyah wala fi Islam." By Allah, I never exposed a awra of a woman in Jahiliyyah nor in Islam. As if he says, how could you enter my house without permission? We're talking about the man of modesty. You know, Uthman, the man of modesty, this action, it's shameful. How could you break through the house without permission? How could you break through and to see the awra of the people inside the house? I never did that. I never did that in Jahiliyyah nor in Islam. And wallahi ma wada'tu yamini ala awrati mudh bay'atu Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And by Allah, I did not touch with my right hand my private parts ever since I gave the pledge to the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And he said, وَلَسْتُ خَالِعًا قَمِيصًا كَسَانِيهِ اللَّهُ عَزَّ وَجَلَّ. And I will never put down or take off a garment that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put on me. وأنا على مكاني حتى يكرم الله أهل السعادة ويهين أهل الشقاء. And I will stay in my position until Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala honor and dignify the people of happiness and humiliate the people of misery. And he is referring to them. This man was astonished. He could not even talk. He could not even move, one step. So he, right away, he retreated back. When the people of Fitna met with him, they told him, what did you do? Then he said, عَلِقْنَا وَاللَّهِ. عَلِقْنَا means we stuck. تورطنا يعني. عَلِقْنَا وَاللَّهِ. وَاللَّهِ مَا يُنْجِينَا مِنَ النَّاسِ إِلَّا قَتْلَهُ وَلَا يَحِلُّ لَنَا قَتْلَهُ. We stuck means we have no option but to kill him. But Islamically, we cannot kill him. There is no excuse. We cannot. He said, Wallahi aliqna. We stuck. We have no choice. So that was the first attempt. The second attempt, they sent another man from a tribe called Bani Layth. When he entered the house, and of course now the house is open, there is nobody. Just Uthman inside, Abdullah ibn Zubayr somewhere, and they were sneaking from like different areas just to bypass Abdullah ibn Zubayr. So this man, he break through when he entered the house, and Uthman again sitting firmly, reading Quran. Then Uthman said, "Who are you?" He said, "I am from Bani Layth." He said, "Lasta bi sahibi." Means, no, you're not the one who's going to kill me. You're not killing me. He said, "How come? How did you know?" He said, أَلَسْتَ الَّذِي دَعَى لَكَ النَّبِيُّ صلى الله عليه وسلم في نفر أن تحفظوا يوم كذا وكذا؟ قال بلى. Aren't you from Bani Layth? Those people whom Allah, Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam make dua for them on the day of so and so? He said, yes. Then he said, I don't think you would lose this dua. So this man, once he heard this, he retreated back and he left the Medina. So he totally left all of them. He did not even stay with them. That was the second attempt, and it failed. The third attempt, they said, the only solution for us is to send somebody from Quraysh. He is from Quraysh. We send somebody from Quraysh. He could convince him to step down or do something. So the man entered, and then again, the narration did not even mention his name. And he said, when he entered inside the house, he said, Ya Uthman, inni qatiluk. Oh Uthman, I am going to kill you. He said, no, you won't kill me. Then the man said, وَكَيْفَ? How? He said, إِنَّ رَسُولَ اللَّهِ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَسَلَّمْ إِسْتَغْفَرَ لَكَ. He knows him. 83 years old, and he knows his people, he knows his citizens, he knows he was aware of everything. Uthman radiallahu ta'ala anhum. He said, إِنَّ رَسُولَ اللَّهِ اسْتَغْفَرَ لَكَ يَوْمَ كَذَا وَكَذَا. that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala seek forgiveness for you on the day of so and so. And you will not spill a sacred blood. فاستغفر الرجل ورجع وفارق أصحابه. Then this man, he seek forgiveness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and then he left those people totally and completely. Now, while this is happening, one of the great Sahabi, radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he came and he wanted to do something because things is getting serious. This was Abdullah ibn Salam. Abdullah ibn Salam, he was a Jewish at the time of the Prophet ﷺ, and he was among the scholars of the Jewish. And he entered Islam in the early days of Medina. So he came to them and he addressed them and he told them, يا قوم لا تسلوا سيف الله عليكم فوالله إن سللتموه لا تغمدوه. O people, do not pull the sword of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala against you, against yourself. If you do so, it will never go back to its pocket. ويلكم إن سلطانكم اليوم يقوم بالدرة. Woe to you. The authority now, they deal with you with the durra, and the durra is the stick. فإن قتلتموه, and if you kill him, لا يقيم إلا بالسيف. If you kill him, then your sultan will deal with you with sword only. ويلكم, woe to you, إن مدينتكم محفوفة بالملائكة الله. Your city is surrounded with the angels of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. والله لئن قتلتموه لتتركنها. By Allah, if you kill him, the angels will leave the city. And look at their rude response. They said, يا ابن اليهودية. They told him, you are the son of the Jewish. وما أنت وهذا. This is not your business. You are a Jewish. And this is like Arab between each other. It's not your business. So he could not do anything and he retreated back. The fourth attempt, they send Muhammad ibn Abi Bakr. And here there's two narrations about Muhammad ibn Abi Bakr. Muhammad ibn Bakr, he break through, he get to Uthman radiallahu anhu. And then Uthman, once he saw him, he said, وَيْلَكَ أَعْلَى اللَّهِ تَغْضَبْ. Woe to you. Are you angry with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? He knows right away, he knows what's in his heart. Because he punished him, because he violated the hukum of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Uthman has no choice but to implement the rule of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He's the Khalifa, he's the Imam. He is the Imam. He implemented the rule of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in his own brother in the past, Al-Walid ibn Uqba, who said, وَيْلَكَ أَعْلَى اللَّهِ تَغْضَبْ هَلْ لِي إِلَيْكَ جُرْمٌ إِلَّا حَقُّهُ أَخَذْتُهُ مِنْكَ. Did I do anything to you except that I took the right of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from you? I did not. There is nothing between me and you. It's not something personal. It's between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you are coming to take a revenge, it's not against me. As if you are acting against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You want to be upset with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? So this man right away, he astonished, he stopped, he paused, he did istighfar, and he retreated back. The other narration actually, what he did, he pulled the beard of Uthman. And he said, you are touching a beard that your father used to respect and dignify. How could you do that? Again, with both narrations, he stopped and he left the people totally and completely. So all of these attempts did not work. And Uthman, again, sitting down, reading Quran, firm. And he knows what could happen to him. He is expecting that he will be killed, referring to the hadith of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, referring to the covenant that he gave the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam to be patient and do not step down and do not follow what those hypocrites are asking him to do. The last and final attempt, the one who took that is the head of the fitna. A group of people, they break through. Those are Utayrata ibn Hamran al-Sukuni, his brother Saudan ibn Hamran al-Sukuni, and the head of the Egyptian group, al-Ghafiqi. The first to enter are Qutayra and his brother and some, and when they reached Uthman, Uthman did not even look at them. He was just focusing, reading Quran. He knows people are going back and forth, but he was sitting down firmly. When they saw this, they have seen like what's so called like a hayba, prestige, something that was like shaking them. Then Al-Ghafiqi, when he came and he said, what are you doing? Do your job. Then they said, look, what we're gonna do? So this Al-Ghafiqi had a piece of metal, curved, called Sawlajan, curved piece of metal. So what he did, he hit Uthman radiallahu anhu right away. One narration says he hit him in his shoulder, and then he kicked the Mus'haf with his foot. The Mus'haf flew in the air and then landed back in the lap of Uthman radiallahu ta'ala anhu, and the blood of Uthman dropped on one ayah in Surah Al-Baqarah, ayah 137, that says, فَسَيَكْفِيكَهُمُ اللَّهُ, but Allah will be sufficient for you against them. This is called, they call it the Mus'haf of Uthman, and this Mus'haf still exists in the museum in Istanbul with some blood still in there. The historian, the history scholars, they said regarding this ayah and regarding the blood that anyone participated in the killing of Uthman radiyallahu ta'ala anhu was killed. Two of them, they lived 40 years after this incident. I forgot the names. I wrote them and I forgot them. I will look them up. And they were very old at the time of Al-Hajjaj. One of them, he came to Al-Hajjaj. Al-Hajjaj, he wanted to send him in an army. He came to Al-Hajjaj and he said, I'm so old, I can't go. So can you take my kids? He said, okay, I will take your kids. One of the people, he said, he mentioned his name. He said, I always have doubts about this man. Then Al-Hajjaj said, oh, right now I remembered. Is this one of those who, the killer of Uthman? They said, yes. Then he said, bring him. And he ordered them and he was killed. And then they told him, there is another one who's hiding. Then he said, go and look for him until you find him and kill him. فَسَيَكْفِيكَهُمُ اللَّهُ. Allah is sufficient for you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is sufficient for you. And based on the narrations, all of those were killed. Some of them, as we will see, they were killed on the spot inside the house of Uthman. At least two of them, and the rest were killed along the time. So now, after this, Saudan ibn Hamran came, pulled his sword, and he wanted to hit Uthman once again. The one who was watching, his wife, Naila ibn al-Farafisa rahimahullah. When she saw this, she stood up and she went to defend her husband. When he was about to hit Uthman, she put her hand in front of the sword, and he hit her hand and he cut her fingers. After that, she sent her fingers with the shirt of Uthman together to Muawiyah radiallahu anhu, because Muawiyah is the relative of Uthman, and he could deal with the rights of Uthman and his blood. And then once he hit her hand and cut her finger, she starts screaming. And this ugly, I would say ugly person, he would hit her in her back also, Saudan ibn Hamran. And then he hit Uthman and killed him. Not that only, look at the grudge in his heart. And he pulled his dagger and he stabbed him 9 times, saying 3 for Allah and 6 for what I have in my heart against you. Look at the hatred and the grudge that they have against Uthman radiallahu ta'ala anhu. Then the narration says, وَقَامَ أَشْقَاهُمْ. Ashqahum is the worst among them. After all of this, yet, Qutayra also, what he did, before he stabbed him, he put the sword in his chest and he pushed it until it went through the chest of Uthman. Then he stabbed him. Now the other one they refer to him as Ashqahum, is the worst among him. He jumped on the chest of Uthman. He started like jumping and jumping and jumping until he broke all of his ribs. At this time, the servants of Uthman, he has like some servants, when they saw this, they came. They killed Saudan. One of them killed Saudan. Then Qutayra came and killed this ghulam. And then another ghulam came and he killed Qutayra. So two of them, they were killed on the spot. This is the first narration and how it ended. The second narration, it was talking about another man. His name was Al-Mawt Al-Aswad. That's what they refer to him. Al-Mawt Al-Aswad, the Black Death. And the narration refers to this as the main drive of the fitna, who was Abdullah ibn Saba, because he was black. That's why they called the Black Death. They said he went and he killed him, and after he killed him, he said he stood in the house and he started like yelling and screaming and shouting, says, قتلت أنا قاتل نعثل. أنا قاتل نعثل. Na'thal, they used to, make Uthman, like refer Uthman as one guy, ugly man, bad person in Egypt. His name is Na'thal, so they used to call Uthman radiallahu anhu ta'ala Na'thal. This is like another narration. So after this, what they have done, they looted his house. They took all of his properties, everything in the house, his money, and they took even the clothes of his wife. Not that only. They also went to Bayt al-Mal. They went to Bayt al-Mal and they looted Bayt al-Mal. Everything in Bayt al-Mal, they took it out. Uthman radiallahu ta'ala anhu was killed with this, and I don't know how do we even describe this. In Arabic we call it like shani'a, bashi'a, brutal, ruthless, heartless, in a very harsh, ugly way. He was killed radiallahu ta'ala anhu when he was 83 years old. Uthman radiallahu anhu, the third guided Khalifa who was promised Jannah. Uthman radiallahu ta'ala anhu, whose nickname in Jannah will be Dhun Nurayn, the wife of the husband of Ruqayyah and Kulthum, the daughters of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Talking about Uthman radiallahu ta'ala anhu. Uthman, the first to migrate in the cause of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, leaving behind him the luxury of this life. Uthman radiallahu ta'ala anhu, as we said before, the one who has the whole dunya, was very rich, extremely rich. The one who has the dunya, the whole dunya in his hand, but this dunya never ever occupied his heart. We're talking about Uthman radiallahu anhu, the generous person who prepared the army of hardship to seek Jannah, the one who bought the will of Roma to ease the life of the Muslimin in the Medina. We're talking about Uthman radiallahu anhu, in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protected Quran through Uthman when he copied Quran and made it one single copy on the tongue of Quraysh. We are talking about a man who expanded the land of Islam, the area of Islam, in land and in sea. This is Uthman radiallahu ta'ala anhu. The reaction of the Sahaba radwanullahi alayhim when they heard this. Sa'id ibn Zayd radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he said in one hadith, he said regarding the killing of Uthman, he said, والله لو أن أحدا ارفض للذي صنعتم بعثمان لكان محقوقا أن يرفض. By Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if the mountain of Uhud could move from its place for the evil which you people have done to Uthman, then it would have the right to move from its place. They came to Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu, and they killed Uthman. Then Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu said, يرحم الله عثمان Yarhamullah Uthman radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. And they said, but the people they regret. Then he said, كمثل الشيطان إذ قال للإنسان أكفر فلما كفر قال إني بريء منك. He said, those people like the shaitan. The shaitan, when he comes and he tells and he whispered to the man to commit kufr, once he commit kufr, he said, I'm innocent. I did not force you. They came to Az-Zubayr and Talha. And Talha said, يرحم الله عثمان وانتصر الله له وللإسلام. وقالوا, and they said, the people they regret. And then he said, فلا يستطيعون توصية ولا إلى أهلهم يرجعون. They can't go back normal to their life. They came to Az-Zubayr and they told him Uthman was killed and the people they regret. And he said, وحيل بينهم وبين ما يشتهون كما فعل بأشياعهم من قبل إنهم كانوا في شك مريب. Those people, they were doubted in what they are doing. And they were in what they are doing. So that ended this, I would say, tragedy, this sadness event by killing Uthman radiallahu ta'ala anhu. What happens after that? The consequences of this fitna last for 5 years and 6 months. Because those people, they still stayed there. What happens right after that? They came and they wanted to do what? They said, this man was killed and the ummah has no amir. Look at their, look at their attitude. They killed the Khalifa and now they said, we want to appoint Khalifa. And they said, we want Ali. Ali refused. He said, I'm not going to listen to those people who killed Uthman radiallahu anhu. Then Az-Zubayr came and Talha ibn Ubaidillah came to Ali and told him, you have to. We have no choice. Then he said, if you accept this, look at the understanding. Those are the people of Ahlul Hall wal Aqd. Those are the shakers and the movers of the community. Those are the representatives of the ummah. Not those rebels, not those evils, not those criminals. So Uthman, Ali radiallahu anhu, after 5 days, he accepted the Khilafah. This led into what? Into two categories, into groups of the Sahaba radwanullahi ta'ala alayhim. One group led by Aisha radiallahu anha, saying that we must kill the killers of Uthman, and that is the hukm of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and she was right. The other group was Ali radiallahu anhu. Ali, he looked at the situation and he sees that I cannot do anything because still those people, the control in their hand, even if I am the Khalifa. So he wanted to wait a little bit until he became, he holds the authority in his hand and the power is in his hand. Every time the Muslimin, they are about to get together, those fitna, they would go and create more fitna. And they were behind the battle of Al-Jamal. Right before the battle of Al-Jamal, the Sahaba, Ali radiallahu anhu, and Aisha and her group, they sit down and they talked and they cried for Uthman. Aisha, she used to say, may Allah curse the killer of Uthman. And Ali says, yes, may Allah curse the killers of Uthman. And they agreed to get together and to work together. The narration says, when that happens right before the battle of Al-Jamal, they said, that was the best night the Muslimin slept after the killing of Uthman, and it was the worst night on the rebels and the fitna people. So they could not sleep until they initiated the fitna once again. For 5 years, during the time of Ali, radiallahu ta'ala anhu. And when Ali was killed, his son Al-Hasan ibn Ali took the authority and the Khilafah in Al-Kufa. And he stayed for 6 months. And then he met with Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan, and they agreed that Al-Hasan will step down, Muawiyah will be the Khalifa. When Muawiyah dies, then Al-Hasan will come back on the Khilafah, and that year was called Amul Jama'ah, the year of unity. The year of unity. That what happened. That's the consequences of this incident. One thing and last thing I would like to mention, that this fitna that happened, there was people who are motivating this fitna. Abdullah ibn Saba. This kind of people was not just on the time of Uthman. They existed even at the time of the Prophet ﷺ. And they were again among the Yahud. Sha's ibn Qais, he tried to initiate the fitna between West House and Khazraj. Abdullah ibn Saba, alayhi lanatullah, and Sha's ibn Qais, alayhi lanatullah, even though they died as physical persons, but their personality exists until now. Their personality exists until now. There's many people who tried and who continues to create the fitna between the Muslimin, between the sects of the Muslimin, between the groups of the Muslimin. Because this fitna, and that was the objective of Abdullah ibn Saba, this fitna will make the Muslimin always get busy together and forget about their main objective, which is to rule by Islam, implement Islam, and carry this Islam as a mercy to all mankind. That is their objective, and that's their aim, and they will continue to do this. When we study the seerah of the Prophet and the seerah of the Sahaba radwanullahi alayhim, yes, it's painful. And somebody might not even get to it because they would say, well, it's very, it's very risky, it's very dangerous, we don't know where to go, we don't know what to know. We have to go, we have to read, we have to study, we have to look, we have to see the reaction of the Sahaba, how they acted, how they addressed this one, and from there you extract the lessons and you take it, and in the future when something like this happens, you would know how to react. The last thing, when we look at the reaction of Uthman radiallahu ta'ala anhu, Uthman from day one he realized that they wanted him. He is wanted, his head is wanted. So he was thinking about the Muslimin and the future of Islam. And he prevented the Sahaba, and he said, do not fight in my sake. I don't want this to happen. He said, I don't want to be the first after the Prophet ﷺ who spilled the blood of a Muslim for his own sake. People there come and tell him, step down. He would not step down. You know now what happens? When the people move on the streets and they tell the president, step down, what happens? He crushed the whole thing. He crushed, even though the ummah nowadays, they have the right, not just to step down, to remove them from their thrones and from their chairs. But their reaction is what? Their reaction is to crush their own people, to save and protect their chair. That's what happens in Syria. That's what happens in Egypt. That's what happens everywhere. Anyone stands against the ruler, he's crushed. They don't care about the blood of the people. They don't care about their souls. They don't care about their life. They care about their chair. Uthman radiallahu anhu did not even care about his chair. In one of the letters he said, I was not even seeking this khilafah. I was entered. He says, I was udkhiltu fi shura. I was entered in this shura. I did not even ask for it. But once I became the imam and the mu'mineen, they accepted me, it has become my responsibility. It becomes my responsibility. I'm not going to step down for the sake of people who come and tell me to step down for their grudge, for their hatred. So we conclude here, inshallah ta'ala. Maybe somebody else will continue with Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu to continue and address the what followed the fitna of Uthman. And jazakumullahu khairan wa barakallahu fikum.